This movie is Action Research, presented by Scott L. Burgess for the course EDR8204 at North Central University. This action research is going to be on blended learning action research by Scott L. Burgess. We first must ask, what is action research? And action research is first about solving an immediate problem within education or anything like that. It's a reflective process, so you're reflecting on it. It's a progressive solving problem. So you're progressively solving a problem. You're working with others. It's real-world research, so it's applicable to the real world. It's addressing issues, and so what you're doing is you're addressing different issues that might be there. It's about solving problems. So pretty much action research is immediate research, and you are within the real world solving a problem or issue that's out there. Now, it doesn't have to be an actual problem or issue. It could just be something that needs to be further researched and could be solved with further additional action research in a community. You're also serving within a community to solve this action. And pretty much that is what action research is, and it helps out with solving different problems. Next, we must look at action research and educational helpfulness. So this is about action research and how it can be helpful to education. First off, it's evaluative, so it can evaluate a different problem or purpose within education. And it's also investigative, so you can investigate within a different problem or issue within education. It's also analytical, and you can analyze within the action that you're trying to create. And then also it has practical solutions along with it, so it can bring about practical solutions. It has a repetition process, so it goes into a cycle, and you just continue to investigate and create change, and it allows for change to occur. And then that change also allows for action to come about, so change and action kind of integrate, and it allows for more action within the repetition process, and then more change to occur. Following, for this action research, there must be a background, and so what I'm going to talk about here is the Ork School District, and the Ork School District is in Ork, South Dakota. And what was going on there was a blended learning program going on, and it was integrated in the fall of 2013. But then it failed in the fall of 2015, and partly due to staff reduction and also staff changes. There was also administration changes, and so there are 3 different principals and 3 different superintendents that were changed from the fall of 2014 to the spring of 2015. And with all this change, it was kind of hard to establish and implement a blended learning environment. So there wasn't, so it was unstable implementation environment to allow for the blended learning to be implemented into the Ork School District. And this is partly because of all the different changes that occurred within the administration and the staff and teacher reductions. There must be a look at the problem or issue that's also occurring in this action research. So the problems or issues within this action research are negative student support, negative teacher support, negative administration support, no parental involvement, no community involvement, no teacher training, no student training, teachers were unsupported, students were unsupported, and the program was unsupported. So the teachers and students didn't support it, and they had negative views of it because there wasn't any training going on within how to complete this blended learning or integrate the blended learning. And then the parents weren't involved in the process at all, so that's partly why blended learning seemed to be failing. The community wasn't involved in it either, and then that's pretty much why there was so much unsupport. There wasn't any support within this blended learning being integrated into the Ork School District. So these are the problems or issues that fell about, and then there was also the change in the administration and the staff and the reductions. The purpose of this action research is to find a direct correlation between blended learning, the blended learning program, and an unstable implementation environment. So the purpose is to show the correlation between the blended learning program and how there might be an unstable implementation learning environment. And that is the purpose, to figure out how all those correlate and act, how both those correlate and act together within this, within the blended learning and the implementation. The research questions will consist of 4 of them. I'm not going to go into them too deep right here because I'm going to go into them a little bit deeper here in just a little bit. The first research question deals with why is blended learning not successfully integrated into the Org School District for long-lasting change. So this is the first research question to see why blended learning and was not integrated for the long-lasting change. The second research question is how can teachers, parents, and community and administrators work effectively to integrate blended learning to establish long-lasting change? So how can all of these different factors work together to create long-lasting change in blended learning? The third research question deals with how does parent and community involvement positively or negatively affect a blended learning integration for long-lasting change. So how do these both positively or negatively affect blended learning integration for long-lasting change? The fourth research question is how does administration changes positively or negatively affect blended learning integration for long-lasting change? So this deals with all the administration changes that happened at Org School District within those 2 semesters. The participants in this study, in this action research, are going to have 50 students in grades 9 through 12, and that's an accurate representation of it. There are actually 100 students in grades pre-K through 12 at the Org School District, but we're just focusing on the blended learning here for the 9th through 12th grade, and there's 50 students. 8 staff members at the Org School District within 9 through 12 for language arts, science, math, and social studies. And then we're also going to look at the 2 administrators for the superintendent and the principal. And then we're going to look at 20 to 30 actively involved parents who are on the PTA, who are actively involved within the children's education. There could be more actively involved parents, but what we've seen at the Org School District is pretty much within the high school is only about 20 to 30 actively involved parents. We must look at the data gathering process for this action research on blended learning in the Org School District. And the data gathering is going to be consistent of observations, so observations of the blended learning program, and then interviews of the parents, the staff, and also the community. And there's going to be surveys also in consistence with this data gathering process. The data collection is going to be consistent of interviews. There's going to be observation notes from the observations that are completed throughout this action research. And then there's going to be surveys that will be included within this action research. And then there'll be testimonials included in this action research from the staff, from the parents, and then also from the students and the administration. And that will be the data collection process. The sharing of the results, and this is the final part of this, and the sharing of the results will be they will be shared openly. And what I mean by this is that the results will be shared with the students, the results will then be shared with the parents, the results will be shared with the administration, the results will be shared with the community, and then the results will be shared with the school board. And so all the results that were compiled from this will be shared with the students, the parents, the administration, community, and the school board. And then the results will be shared at a specified meeting and on a specified date and time. And then what will happen within this action research is that out of this we will be able to come up with some resolutions for how to effectively integrate blended learning back to the Org School District. And then out of the action research there will be a continuous process still going for that that cycle that happens within action research for the data gathering process.